Roll call, please.
Mr. Alt, Mr. Beistel, Mr. Benz,
Here.
Mr. Carson, Mr. Fry,
Here.
Mr. Polakowski,
Here.
Mrs. Rhodes, here. Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Love.
Here.
Let the record show that Mr. Alt had work obligations and Mr. Beistel is ill.
Citizens' comments.
I have no comment cards.
Minutes.
Next week, you'll be asked to approve the minutes of the January 11th planning session and the January 18th voting meeting.
Accounts.
Questions on that motion? Discussion?
Accounts.
You'll also be asked to approve the treasurer's report and the accounts payable summary for January of 2018.
Board reports.
Yeah, we'll have formal board reports next week, including the high school performance report with Mr. Krofcheck. But tonight we have guests from Westmoreland Intermediate Unit with us. We have Joe Shulo and Colleen Suchko with us. They're going to talk a little bit about Clairview School and what's happening there. And I believe they do have a video for us, so I would invite you down to the tables.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Joe Shulo. I'm the Student Services Director at the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit. About a year ago, our Executive Director, Dr. Jason Conway, came around to share what intermediate units are and what the WIU can do to support school districts. This year, we're going to all of our districts in our county to highlight our Clairview School. And Colleen Suchko is who I'll introduce to you next. She is the principal of our Clairview School, and she has information to share with you about those programs.
Thank you, and thank you for having us. I'd first like to acknowledge the staff in the back. We have teachers' assistants and teachers that work at Clairview. So if you have follow-up questions, please feel free. Sorry. So what you're going to see in our little infomercial is a showcase of what we presently have here at Clairview and where we want to go. Over the course of the last year, we worked diligently with the LEAs to really reevaluate the services that we provide. As you all have done a great job in providing the least restrictive environment and opening life skills classes, our class enrollment started to decline. So we polled, and we would like to go more in the direction of students that have difficult behaviors, give them the strategies that they need, and move them back into the district. So what you're going to see is a brief infomercial of what we have and where we would like to go.
autistic support classrooms provide students who are on the spectrum a highly structured and individualized program so they can complete assigned tasks and be successful at school. Sensory-based activities and sensory integration opportunities throughout the day help students avoid or eliminate anxiety, stay involved in learning tasks, and receive academic success.
The next program we'd like to show you is called Multiple Disability Support, or MDS. In our MDS program, students in grades K through 12 who are diagnosed with 2 or more disabilities receive intensive support in academics, social and communication skills, motor skills, as well
Thank you. We have a wonderful former teacher that put that together for us. Really enjoyed putting it together with her. So something that you don't see in our video is the amount of other activities that we do. One of which comes to mind is our holiday dance, in which Mrs. Sager is here tonight and helps to teach those social skills of the different silverware and what they mean, and waiting for other people to get their food before you start, putting the napkin on your lap. So we try and teach skills even though it's an activity. And this year, one of our newer students went to the holiday dance, and he looks down and he looks at his teacher and said, "I don't remember all this silverware." But he really enjoyed it, and he really got to understand that if you work hard, you can achieve things like this. So just really cute little stories that have come out of my 6-7 months as principal to truly love this position. So I have brought all the board members a brief brochure. Anybody have any questions? Well, thank you. Yeah.
You're quite your size, though.
Mhm.
I assume that's just for the children that are handicapped, physically handicapped. Is that correct? For the most
I
part.
did catch the OT in it one time. For the most part, yes.
About how many of those students get to use that equipment, that particular piece of equipment?
So we have about 100 students, and I would put 25 in wheelchairs that actually get in there routinely. Some are in there every day. Isn't that an amazing before and after? It's just amazing. And some of the kids, they get in there and they giggle. They love it. Or I've caught one on like nodding off. I'm like, "Get that head up. We're at school. We're working hard." He just laughs. It does make them feel good. It does empower the students. And you can tell, even if they're not verbal, you can tell right away that they're happy. They feel good coming out of those machines. And then
Piece of equipment, and again, the interaction there, it's not personality, it's not a physical therapist working with someone, having an off day or an on day. It's the equipment which has no personality, and so they just function.
And they love it. It's, I'd be hard pressed to do all those motions myself. Working my feet and my arms at the same time is not always easy. Any other questions? Well, thank you again for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, guys.
You're good. Yeah.
Old business?
Last month we tabled the adoption of the 2018-19 calendar. The Southmoreland Education Association asked for some input, and they actually did some really good ideas. So attached to your board docs, you will see the proposed 2018-19 school calendar. And one of the things that changed is we built a snow day into February, as well as an Act 80 day, and then we built a snow day into March. And what that did was preserve spring recess for families that may be traveling over the holidays, or maybe students that just need a break during the spring. And then we tacked on snow days 3 and 4 at the end of the school year. So that was the major change that occurred there.
New business?
Yeah, we had 3 students, Dylan Opalinski, Quay Akins, and Shelby Bryan, who qualified for regional band. You'll be asked to approve an overnight trip for those students to Plum High School on February 21 to 23. A copy of their request is attached. Even though Plum isn't really that far, it is more cost-effective to have them stay overnight than it is to transport them back and forth each day.
Budgetary transfers?
Right. Under school code and state law, we are not permitted to overspend monies that aren't budgeted in a particular category. And we had some budgetary needs in some categories this year that were not budgeted, and we had some extra money in other categories that we didn't need. So we're requesting some budgetary transfers. Jim, would you like to elaborate on that at all?
You have the transfer forms. Is there any specific questions on any of them?
Advertising for maintenance, custodial, and athletic supplies.
Now, each year we advertise for bids for maintenance, custodial, and athletic supplies, generally awarding to the lowest bidder. So we would request permission to place that ad and get that process underway again for next year.
Transportation contract?
Yeah, we would recommend that this be tabled, or at least probably tabled, until next month. We need to do some additional study. We do have an RFP response that is attached to your board docs document, but we need to do some additional study and work on that before we're ready to make a recommendation to you.
Need a motion to adjourn for personnel?
Right. Is there anything else for public consumption, folks? Motion.
Motion to adjourn for personnel? Okay. Try to bang this thing.
In favor?
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Adjourn to executive session.
Adjourn to executive session.